Hello guys, how are you? Welcome back to Mr. Scary. Alright, let's be real for a second. These days, anyone can fake a haunted video. A shadow here, a spooky noise there. Cut to black and boom, I'm haunted. But every now and then, you stumbled on a story that does not feel edited, does not feel forced. It feels real, like something actually followed them home. Tonight's stories, they are from three YouTubers who did not set out to make ghost content. They were just living their lives, filming like normal until something stepped in. We have got Loey Lane. Her closet door opened on its own during filming, but what caught people off guard was what came after. Then Candace Gardner. She went to a Halloween party at a prison. Fun, right? Until the nightmares started. And even after she moved, whatever followed her did not stop. And finally, all the way from Japan, Omagatoki Film, they were just documenting a haunting for a family who had to flee their own home. What they caught on camera still gives people chills. No jump scares, just pure dread. So if you are into real stories, not clickbait, turn off the lights. Put your phone down because these stories might stay with you long after the video ends. So let's get into it. Honestly, this story gave me chills when I first heard it, and I have seen and heard a lot of spooky stuff online. This is not just a campfire story or a creepypasta, it's real. It happened to a YouTuber named Candace Gardner, and it all started with a Halloween party in a prison. Yeah, you heard that right, an actual abandoned prison. Back in 2015, Candace and her husband were invited to this Halloween event. It was not at someone's house, it was not at a bar, it was held in an old, decommissioned prison. One of those massive stone-built places with a reputation, you know the kind, where the walls look like they have seen too much and the silence hits just a little too hard. The place had a history of torture and death. Some say inmates were beaten, neglected, and left to die in those cells. It's a kind of place ghost hunters beg to get into. Candace did not know much about that at the time. It was just supposed to be a fun night. Costumes, drinks, spooky vibes, that's it. But almost immediately she felt like something was off. She later said she felt like she was being watched. She kept seeing chalk symbols on the walls, the kind that were not part of any Halloween decoration. There were cold spots, strange sounds echoing through the cell blocks, and shadows that did not seem to match the lighting. Still, she stayed. She laughed it off, she had fun, but something from that place did not want her to leave. The very next day, back at home, things started to go sideways. At first, it was little things. Lights flickering, the TV turning on and off, easy to explain, right? Power surge, bad wiring, no big deal. But then, plates starting flying off shelves. Flour dumped itself onto the floor while no one was in the kitchen. Items disappeared only to reappear in the weirdest places. The thermostat would spike randomly. Her daughter's toys started going off in the middle of the night with the batteries removed. That's when Candace realized this was not electrical. This was not coincidence. Something was in her house. Now here's where it gets really disturbing. One night, Candace was sleeping on the couch. She had a security camera pointed into the living room, probably because she was already starting to feel unsafe, and the camera caught something. Out of nowhere, her legs get yanked hard, like something was trying to drag her off the couch. There's no one in the room, nothing visible, just her body being pulled. I have seen the footage, it's not staged. It's jerky, raw, genuine. You can see the shock in her face when she wakes up mid-pull. That moment, because one of the most talked about pieces of her story, it even got her featured in the Discovery Plus series A Ghost Ruined My Life in an episode called Paranormal Prison Break, and honestly, that title fits way too well. After that, it was not just noises or movement, it got physical, dangerous. Candace says that she was scratched, grabbed, and even had a knife thrown at her. Yeah, a full kitchen knife flew across the room and embedded itself in the wall next to her. And it was not just her. Her daughter, who was young at that time, started seeing things too. She once told her mom about a man made of black wax crawling out of her dresser, not standing, crawling, as if his bones did not work right. This was not sleep paralysis. This was not an overactive imagination. Multiple people in the house were experiencing the same terror, and it did not stop. Eventually, Candace had enough. They packed up, moved homes, started fresh, but the spirits or whatever this was followed. She started to believe the energy from that prison had attached itself to her, like she had been marked, like she was souvenir the dead were not willing to give up. She described seeing an entity, black, tall, clawed, and she heard it say her name out. Candace is mine. And no matter where she went, that voice followed. She told this story publicly, fully believing that whatever she brought back from that prison was not just a ghost, it was something much darker. In her words, attending that party was the dumbest mistake of my life. And you know what? I don't blame her for saying that. I know we all love a good ghost story, but Candace's experience isn't just a tale. It's something she lived, and she's still dealing with it, even years later. So if you ever get invited to some cool underground event at a creepy historical location, maybe ask a few more questions before actually going there, just in case something there is still waiting. Okay, so if you are someone who loves the paranormal side of YouTube, you have probably heard of Loey Lane. She is known for her spooky content, haunted story times, and paranormal investigations. But what a lot of people don't know is that Loey did not start out looking for ghosts. In fact, they came to her. And it all started with a Ujla board. Back in 2017, Loey bought a vintage style Ujla board. Not to use, not to summon anything. She literally just thought it like cool. Like a decoration piece for her apartment so she can flex in front of her friends. It was thrifted, a little worn, retro vibes, but nothing seemed off at first. She placed it in her space like you would hang a picture or light a candle. No rituals, no sessions, no let's talk to the dead. It was just there, but then things started happening. Not long after bringing that board home, Loey began to notice strange things. Her apartment lights would flicker randomly. Even though her building had modern wiring, electronics would run on and off by themselves. And her hairdryer, she once found it plugged in and running when she had not touched it in days. And then came the flooding. She would wake up to a flooded bathroom, water pouring over the floor, but the tap was not running. There was no leak, no explanation, just water. And that's when she started to get scared. She began feeling this presence, like eyes on her back, whenever she walked down the hallway. You know that feeling when the hairs on your neck stand up and your body know something's wrong before your brain does. That became her daily life. And the Ujla board, she tried putting it away, thinking maybe it was creating weird energy, but it did not matter. The activity stayed. Things would move. She would hear knocking. Doors would creak open at night. Her dog, who had always been calm, started acting anxious, crawling at corners, barking at nothing. Loey started to wonder, did I bring something into my life by accident? Because she's a content creator, Loey started documenting the activity. She did not want to sensationalize anything. She just needed someone to believe her, and her audience did. In several of her videos, you can literally hear disembodied voices, EVPs, and unexplainable noises. She would be filming a normal vlog, and her whisper would cut through the audio. No one else around, just her. She also talked about being touched, like something brushing against her skin when no one was there. And one night, she woke up to what felt like someone sitting at the edge of her bed. Yeah, just sitting there. Eventually, she could not take it anymore. She moved to a new apartment, hoping it would stop. New space, clean slate. But the haunting followed her. She continued experiencing flickering lights, electrical issues, and that overwhelming sense of being watched. Even in her new place, it was like the spirit or whatever energy she had unknowingly invited in was not tied to the apartment, it was tied to her. Louis has always been open about mental health, personal stories, and spirituality, but even she admitted that this experience shook her. She has said on multiple occasions that she did not try to communicate with anything. She never invited a haunting. She never messed with rituals. She just brought something home and it stayed. What makes Louis' story so terrifying is not that she went ghost hunting or played with fire. She did not. She was living her life, decorating her home, filming her content, and somehow she ended up in the middle of a haunting that just would not quit. So next time you see an old Odila board at a thrift shop, maybe think twice before bringing it into your space, because sometimes it's not just decoration. So the third and last story is from Omagatoki Film's channel. You ever watch a ghost video and just know it's real? No over the top editing, no got you sound stringers, just that quiet soul level read. That's what happened when Omagatoki Film, maybe I'm not pronouncing it right, it is a Japanese word, so sorry for that. A Japanese ghost hunting channel captured what many believe is actual paranormal evidence, and unlike jump scare clickbait, you are about to hear about a moment that left even seasoned investigators stunned. Let me walk you through it. It was supposed to be a routine shoot. Omagatoki had received a private message from a family too frightened to sleep in their own house. They had lived in that home in the Japanese countryside for years without incident until recently. Footsteps in the attic, doors opening on their own. One of their children even claimed to see a pale man with no mouth watching them from the hallway. The family fled and begged Omagatoki to investigate. The crew arrived just before midnight. They did what they always do, set up shots of the hallway, bedrooms, and the kitchen. Everything was calm. For the first 20 minutes, it was quiet until they set the camera down in the main corridor. The hallway was long, dimly lit, and dead silent. The only light came from a faint fixture above, swinging slowly as if someone had just passed by. That's when it happened. At 8 minutes 21 seconds in the footage, something appears at the far end of the hallway. A figure, white, vaguely human shaped. But there's no facial detail, no motion, it's there, then not. The team doesn't notice right away, it's only later during playback that one of them yells, "Wait, rewind there." What is that? And here's the thing, they double checked every shot, no crew member was standing there, no one had moved, the doorway behind the figure was closed tight, the shape was just standing, watching, and then gone. As if that was not enough, something else happened seconds after the figure appeared. You can hear a faint, distorted whisper, and when you boost the audio, it sounds like a voice saying "Okeri." It is a Japanese word which means welcome home. The team all denied speaking in that moment, and yet the mic picked it up clear as day. They even released the raw audio to fans, asking, "Did you hear it too?" And over 1,000 commenters confirmed it. The hand-led camera begins to glitch, and most chillingly, the crew member closet to the hallway reports intense nausea and cloud chills. To this day, fan calls it the corridor episode, and it remains one of the most authentic on-camera hauntings ever captured in Japan. Was it a ghost? A residual echo of something long past, or did that spirit never really leave the house at all? Whatever it was not part of the script, and this time the camera didn't blink. If you like the story, make sure to like and subscribe and support me so I will continue this series.